Hi guys, this video lesson explains the difference between the following four words in Mandarin Chinese. They are 中文, 汉语, 国语, and 普通话. So 中文, 汉语, 国语, and 普通话. All three of these are translated to Chinese. So at a high level, for all four of these words, they are just different ways of saying Chinese in Chinese. It means the language Chinese. The main difference between these four is the exact meaning of the characters in the word, so the components, and thus the specificity of each word. And they will be explained one by one. Let's start with a high-level explanation about the Chinese language. So firstly, China is huge. It's a massive country, and not everyone speaks the same language. So unlike places like America, where you might have local accents, mainly people in America understand each other, so they speak the same language. However, in China, quite often people are bilingual. Most often they speak a native language of their area, which is called a dialect. Dialects in Chinese are not like English dialects. In English, when we say dialect, we mainly refer to someone who has a few unique words and a different accent, but generally they are mutually intelligible, meaning someone from Ireland can understand someone from America and vice versa. Maybe they would have some struggles with some words, but generally they understand each other. However, in China, it's not the same. Someone who speaks a language that is their local dialect, if they don't speak Mandarin Chinese, they won't understand it. It's a different language altogether. However, most people in China, especially the younger generation, speak the common language of the country, which is Mandarin Chinese. And a lot of these, I'll go on to explain that these different words, these four words, mainly refer to Mandarin Chinese. So let's start with the first one, 中文. It's likely if you started learning Chinese that 中文 is the most basic one you would learn. 中文 means Chinese, obviously, all four of these do. 中 means center and 文 means language. So 中文 means the language of the center. You can imagine for Chinese people, China is the center of the world. So Chinese, 中文 refers to the language of the center of the world. However, it is important to point out that 中文 can also include all types of Chinese, including all dialects. So 中文 broadly refers to all Chinese dialects, but in usage, it usually means Mandarin. So here's an example. 我在学中文. 我在学中文. I am learning Chinese. If a person like me, a Westerner, were to say 我在学中文, it means I'm learning Mandarin, generally speaking, because you wouldn't be learning any other type of Chinese unless you're planning on living the rest of your life in some particular local area that doesn't speak Mandarin as the first language. So 我在学中文, generally speaking, means Mandarin, but technically it could mean any Chinese dialect. The second word is 汉语, which obviously also means Chinese, but the origin of these characters and the meaning of the word is different. So Han means Han, the people. So the Han people, China has different ethnic groups, and the Han group is the largest of all of the ethnic groups in China, constituting about 92% of the population. Yu is short for 语言, which means language. So 汉语 means the language of the Han people, again 92% of the population, which basically means Mandarin Chinese. So here's an example. 你汉语说得很好. 你汉语说得很好. You speak Chinese really well. The third word is 国语, which obviously also means Chinese. The origin of this is 国 means country, and 语 is the same as in 汉语, short for 语言, meaning language. So together, 国语 simply means the language of the country, and surprise, surprise, the language of China. or the main language, is Mandarin Chinese. So 国语 also means Mandarin Chinese. However, there is one interesting difference in the word 国语, and that is the people who use this word, as in the dialects of China, people tend to use different words to refer to Chinese. The people who say 国语 are generally from the south of China. So for example, Hong Kong or those regions. They will refer to Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, as 国语. But if you go up into the north, it's much more rare to hear someone call Mandarin Chinese 国语. So here's one example of how to use it. 我不会说国语. So someone from the south might just say 我不会说国语. I can't speak Mandarin. And the fourth and final one is 普通话, which means Mandarin specifically. So out of all the words that we've learned, 中文, 汉语, 国语, 普通话 is the one word that is most specifically, most obviously, most clearly referring to Mandarin Chinese. So 普通 means common, and 话 means word or tongue. So together, the common tongue of China, 普通话, is Mandarin Chinese. Here's an example. 我普通话说得不好. 我普通话说得不好. My Mandarin speaking is bad. Wrapping up this video, just one final note. For all intents and purposes, these four words are completely interchangeable. So in any context where you could use 中文, 汉语, 国语, or 普通话, really you're quite flexible to use whichever one you want. And the main reason is because Mandarin Chinese is the dominant language of China. So even often 中文, which technically could mean any Chinese language, usually refers to Mandarin anyway. So 中文, 汉语, 国语, and 普通话, all in everyday sentences, in everyday usage, refer to Mandarin Chinese. Thanks for watching.